I'm gonna go and change clothes.
Okay, good.
I want to wait till everything is set up.
Now everything is set up so you can change your clothes.
But okay, he said I was gonna have.
Yeah, but do that afterwards
Okay.
because it interferes with changing clothes.
But the
Good
thing
luck.
is, you see, that I'm gonna come in here when he has presented me, and with a little song, which is a little bit of surprise.
So you do then
the microphone
first
out
you
there.
change, then the microphone
Yes.
out there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Super. Aber es ist so ein Bühnenmensch, gell? Und man merkt ja auch die Anspannung an, ne? Das ist irgendwie schön.
Bist du Lena vorstellen, ja?
Ja.
Okay. Ich habe das in Gras gefunden.
Ah, okay.
Kannst du das sagen?
Ja, kann ich sagen.
Vielleicht kann man das verkaufen. Das ist ziemlich teuer. Ich weiß nicht, wie.
Wir können beginnen zu streamen machen. Ja, wir finden den richtigen Zeitpunkt.
Ja.
Der Titel ist Breathwork Mastery, ne? Habe ich das richtig in Erinnerung? Und sie hat irgendwie eine
Mastery and
Life Mastery und Breathwork. Das ist komisch, gell? Der Beamer nimmt nicht das ganze Bild.
Ja, das ist nicht ganz, wie man was sagt. Genau. Das ist nicht schlecht eingestellt.
Is it okay with the lights or you need more lights? Because sometimes we put on this middle one.
Oh yeah, that's
I
good
will-
to
I
put
will
on
put
the.
it
Yeah,
on.
please put it on. Yeah.
I think we always had it on because then it lights on the face.
Seems nice.
Yeah.
But for the face, there is
The other spots. Just and if not, then I just switch it off. She put on her blue dress. I saw it when I went to the toilet. She had her costume ready there.
Vom Stand wieder, gell? Die so gehen jetzt die Lösungen auf die Bühne.
so Job, oder?
Ich weiß nicht, ob man bis die Glocke ausgeleitet hat, bis die Glocke wieder kommt.
Du bist es anders, wird aber das ist auch passiert.
Es ist nur, dass ich dann reinhaue. Für ich glaube, es tut eigentlich jetzt. Komm ein Stückchen zurück mit der Kamera.
Dear viewers and listeners to our online streaming international breathwork conference broadcast. It's the last evening of this series of lectures. I hope you all have enjoyed them and also will enjoy tonight's lecture. I'll hand over to Wolfgang.
Thank you.
Can we have more quiet?
Welcome. Today we have the pleasure of a very well-known person in the breathwork family, in the IVF, in the breathwork community. She's going to talk to us about life mastery and breathwork. So welcome with me to the stage, Lena, Kristina, Tuulse.
My name is Lena, Kristina, the universal dreamer. That's Lena, Kristina. If you hang out with Lena, Kristina, your karma will be cleaner. Lena, Kristina, come and fly with me. Come and fly wherever we may be. There is not a fear I can tame. The reason we all are the same is love is the game. Wilfred, where is he? Yes. My thought now goes to you and to your team for the wonderful conference that you have created for all of us, where we can come together and exchange working modalities, where we can share joy and love. So this is my moment. I am one of the pioneers in Europe for what we in those days called rebirthing. And I had the privilege to be one of the first ones in Sweden to catch on to the possibilities to what breathwork could bring into the field of psychology, growth, and health. It was a question of energy liberation in many ways. I'm also a founding member of IVF. Yes. Am I speaking too fast, my translator? Okay. You see, it's really funny. Maybe 6 weeks ago, I got a letter from Wilfred that said, "We gotta have your speech written now so that the translators can start to prepare themselves. I usually don't write down word by word, which I have done now. Okay. It's all for the translators. No, I think it serves all of us. Jaha, lite correction. Thank you. As a psychologist, I have brought the importance of how breath work can be used in rehabilitation and health. In many professional fields, I've had a little finger and kind of pulled them into the importance of breath work. I have been educating personnel from many different fields, from treatment centers, from wards in prison, and in many health and wellness situations. My latest work that I have been asked to do next month, or actually in October, it's to teach the whole personnel of the embassy people, the Estonian embassy people in Sweden. I feel very honored. If it was, if we can put more. Earrings, oh my God, I'm trying to be so sophisticated. I am destroying the. Thank you very much.
Take the rest off. Lena, Kristina.
Yes?
Take more off.
Take more. It's not the talent show yet, even if this has been one of my most important tasks during more than 35 years, and I still love it, even if I have slowed down a bit. My enthusiasm for breathwork has not decreased. So, my friends, my colleagues, my sisters, my brothers, isn't it true that we all want to be more? We want to have more, we want to share more, we want to live more, and we want to be part of embracing more of what life can be. We all have an inherent natural drive and a hunger for more of what life can bring us. And by now, most of you know that what we want to create, it starts with a dream, with a desire, with a vision. And what we dream about can get its wing and become your reality. If you keep focusing on it and do the needed work, miracles can and will always come your way if you are open to it. My driving force was toward true happiness and joining with people in a meaningful and creative way. I yearned for building community, and in the community to work for health and to develop our true potentials and to be of service. And this is what I wish for all of us. As we are letting our dreams create an extraordinary life for ourselves in all our different areas of interest. So you can say that all true knowledge, they told me when I started, one of my teachers, you already have everything inside. You already know everything. I think it was very hidden those days. I needed quite a bit of time to find out who I was and how I could become what I wanted to. It's a building work. And that is what we all are learning from each other. Little building blocks with different techniques, different thoughts, different ideas. Yes, that wise man, he also said somewhat later that we all know inside, but it's just been covered with so much falseness, fear, and pride. So, is it so? Some of the questions I ask for in a breathing session with a client, it is this first question. What is it that you are looking for? What solutions do you want to have from the work that we will do together? What roles and identity do you want to have in your life? Are you looking for maximum energy, for vitality, for health? Do you want to become an outrageous partner, parent, friend? Do you want to be a master in dealing with your emotions? We share around these topics. So many of us let what is happening outside of us decide our feelings and action. So this is such an incredible opportunity in IVF to practice our emotional muscles. And this I feel we might be practicing for the rest of our lives. To become an extraordinary person, we need to put ourselves in a surrounding where we are challenged to grow, where we are challenged to develop both our body, our mind, and our spirit. And what makes me so thrilled about IVF is that this is such an organization. We have a group of people around us that have somewhat the same aim and the same goal. And we push each other a little here and there, hopefully in the right direction. And in my work, I slow down, of creating and running a treatment center for young addicts, I often contemplated the question, if the opposite to addiction could be connection, if trauma and the subsequent lack of connection sets the stage for addiction, could this then be restored by connection? Could that be the solution? Today, there are many discussions around this. And the author, Johan Hari, with his book, Chasing the Scream, gives strong evidence for this. And my own experiences with hundreds of clients tell me the same answer And of course, there are more to it. I consider that this was one of the strong underlying driving forces for me to give part of my life to breathwork. And this is the story.
Lena, Kristina, slides.
Slides. Yes, we can go to next slide. Ställa mig lite åt sidan också. Ja, men det är klart. Så där. It all started in a small room in the cellar of a place called Gallery, among other things. And the year was 1979. Gallery, among other things, was a meeting place that I was part of organizing, and where we had made 3 rooms that were soundproof in the cellar. We had been swept away by Arthur Yarnov and his primal scream. We were going to scream our pain, sorrow, loneliness, and helplessness away. 2 ladies, Peggy and Norma, came one day to the center from United States, and they were ambassador for Leonard Orr. And they started to talk about breathing, rebirthing, and this Leonard Orr. And was I maybe interested to try a session of breathing in one of these cellar rooms? Yes, in those days, and maybe to some degree still, I was willing to try anything to move me on toward my happiness and joy, and to become a great therapist myself. I always longed to feel the fullness of life. So I was laying there on this concrete floor in one of the little rooms on a thin mattress, and I followed the instruction of Norma. Connect your inhale to the exhale, have a stronger inhale, and let your exhale be relaxed. You know, this is the half-time job, she said. I breathe, and my thoughts were running. Oh, I had to remember to call Linda about that art exhibition. Oh, I had to remember to buy new cups for the cafe. Oh, I must remember to plan for that jazz concert and call that, oh, what is the use of this? Oh, breathe and breathe. It's so boring and nothing is happening. Oh, if I only had paper and pen by my side so I can write down all the things I remember I have to do. At least that would be some value of it. Oh, focus on your breath. I heard Norma say, relax into the breathing. And I think it goes on for ages. Oh, and then finally Norma tells me to sit up and start to share about my experiences. Yes, I told her I felt it was a relief at least to not have to breathe more. And I said, you know, nothing really happened. I just was thinking of all these things I need to do instead of laying here. How interesting, she said. I wondered what could be so interesting about this boring experiencing. But you see, this is how you run your mind. You really can't to see what much stress you have in your mind. You can't just relax and breathe. You will just have to think of doing. That's not such a good place to be, you know. That's really one of the bases for heart attacks. Now, anyhow, I found that the rest of that day I felt a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more at ease, and I think a little bit more present too. So it finally struck me that maybe it had to do with that hour that I had been laying breathing on that floor. So when Peggy and Norma, a couple of weeks later, asked if I was interested to meet and arrange a workshop with Leonard Orr, I was excited about it. And little did I know what that would lead to. Maybe one of my most dynamic and explosive times of change and development started on this little children's island where we had our 5-day retreat. And you know, I was curious on this guy also, Leonardo. They talked about him like he was some kind of a guru, you know. My sessions were explosions in my mind. It was touching my heart deeply, my emotions. I cried and I screamed and I expressed a lot of cowardly things. During another one of these sessions, I felt I breathed my way to heaven. I really felt God in my heart. And you know, I was a Sunday school child. I loved Jesus, and I thought Jesus was standing by my side. There was light and joy, and I think I heard bells ringing. And an immense feeling of oneness that I will have breathing work as something to work with for the rest of my life. I think I decided there and then. In this training, we were divided into groups of 3. And in my group, I had the privilege to have Leonard's girlfriend, Ginny, and Bo Wallström. Yes, I am sure that their presence and devoted consciousness was really part of my experiences. So Bo and I, we started by time the first 9 months training for teachers of breath in Sweden. In the start, it was built up very much after the 9-month program that Leonard Orr had created. And by time, we modified it according to what we felt was most suitable. Bo and I, we run many good teachings for decades, and we train teachers, and I think thousands of students pass different forms of our teachings. I also started the first Estonian training program and have been a guest teacher in many trainings around in Europe. After my first contact with Leonardo, I did go to study with him in Campbell Hot Springs at his training center. I did all his program, and of course I had to go to meet his guru, his master in Herakan Baba Babaji in India. At the time I had a baby, Joseph. He was 6.5 months old, and I know that my husband was somewhat hesitant to let us go to India in those days. You know, you had read all about these infections, but I felt like I'm on my way to God. God will protect us. Yes. One of my best friends, Eva, she also came along, which was very good. Because I tell you, it's not so easy in those days to have a baby in Herakan. Because you can't put the baby down on the ground. And you have to change diapers and all that in the river. You can't do that up in the ashram. And there is 108 steps down to the river and 108 steps up again. After, I think about 8-10 days, they understood that maybe they could do a little exception in a corner behind the kitchen that I could go there. It was an adventure to get there. Those days, I think we had to cross the river 5-6 times. And I had my backpack in the back and my baby in the front and had to go that slippery stones. And sometimes the water went up here. But I enjoyed it. I mean, these mountains around you, this wide nature, it was like I felt I came to the creation of the earth itself. I met Babaji. And I remember one time, because it was okay for me to breastfeed. Breast is not really, what you call it, it's not sinful in India. So one time I was sitting breastfeeding and Babaji came with one of his puppies and said, "Can put it on the other breast." I said to myself, as he is this master, I can't deny his dogs a little bit of mother milk. Okay, this is Joseph, a little bit older. This is the first breast training that happened in Sweden at the center that I had created in those days. This is the outdoor toilets we had, and you had solar heating, and this is Eva. And I think you are somewhere here, Botu, but we can't see it. The leading mantras was truth, simplicity, and love. To observe without making judgments and condemnations. To train yourself not to attack and defend yourself. To be able to separate yourself from others and to know that you are innocent, always doing the best you can, and to work with forgiveness. These were all new teachings for me. I grew up with the thoughts that there is always someone that is guilty, and that it's important to be good in the eyes of other people, to pretend and to look good even if you are crying inside. Do not trust that people will like you if you show them your bad sides. With Leonard, I did the first contact with the Course in Miracles, and to come to understand that you are responsible even for your thoughts, at least when you have become aware of what you have been thinking. So my driving force now became to be able to create the life that I love to live. During my work with rebirthing, I really found the power of the heart. Someone sitting by my side while I had the chance to cry and breathe through misunderstandings and conditionings from the past. All these experiences from my childhood that were still formed in my thoughts about my parents, about myself, about my teachers and other significant persons. I come to feel love from a listening presence and could start to recognize and change the way I felt about myself and others. I could see new possibilities and how to create my dreams. Today, I know, feel, and are aware of how much my parents really loved me. But I thought my mom was a mean witch when I was a teenager. Yes, they really gave much to my family. But what they did not have a clue about, or even were interested in, was the emotional support that I needed to feel loved and understood. Something they had not gotten. They had just learned to do what you're told and shut up. Okay, in psychology, we talk of attachment disorders. It is defined as a broad term intended to describe disorders of mood, behavior, and social relationships. You can say that it is a result of a failure for a child to form normal attachment to their primary caregiving person, normally their parents, in early childhood. Such a failure results from unusual early experiences of neglect, abuse, and abrupt separations, mostly from one or two parents, between birth and ongoing. It can also be a frequent change of caregiver, too early being put in daycare. This does not form the responsiveness who's a child that will protect the child and make the child believe in herself or himself. When a child don't get the right responsiveness to its needs and to its efforts to be understood, they give up in their reaching out to the appropriate caregiver. And it will result in a basic lack of trust and a lack and asking for what you want. You don't believe that it will be given to you. And this can be in larger or smaller amounts in all of us. The term attachment disorder is also used to describe emotional and behavior problems of young children of school age, teenagers, and even adults. The specific difficulties implied depend on the age of the individual, and a child's attachment-related behaviors may be very different with one familiar adult than with another. This means that the disorder is within the relationship and the interaction of these two. It's not an aspect of one or the other's personality. Generally, the term attachment disorder refers to the absence or distortion of age-appropriate social behavior with adults. For example, in a toddler, attachment disorder behavior could include a failure to stay near familiar adults in a strange environment, or to be comforted by contact with parents. In a 6-year-old attachment disorder behavior, it might involve excessive friendliness and inappropriate approaches to strangers from the lack of closeness at home. This has been the case where many pedophiles has been able to take advantage of such a behavior in children. And I feel connected to the later myself. I looked for approval and love in many strangers as a child. I trusted they could give what I did not feel that I got from my parents. And this also led to some sexual abuse that I was exposed for. And the tricky thing is that it was someone in the family. It was my grandfather. I think I mentioned that in one of the workshops. That, I had not even had my 6th birthday when he started to come after me and stop still, and he started to want to touch my little vagina while he masturbated. And I didn't understand, and I was scared of my mother. I did not dare to tell anybody. So this became something that he kept doing till I was maybe 8, 9 years, and I could run away. Before that, it was like I froze in the situation. And it built a lot of shame, guilt, fear, disgust in that whole area of sexuality. The interesting thing is when my mom finally found out, she didn't do anything about it. Okay, but that's all over. What? A new build, huh? Yeah, this is actually the place that I work on today. I started a foundation on the island bed where I live. We call it Life University, and who has also been part of putting that in action. And we have a beautiful barn there that can hold a couple of hundred people. We have a health house, we have a kitchen, a dining room, and sleeping loft. And I tried to pull out a little bit, hoping that people will really come forward and take it over. I'll show you some more picture here. That's one of the little living room, little office. This is before the kitchen. This is from one of the workshops in the barn. And where did I go? And it never go! But I have learned I can go back and I can go forward. Okay, it's a beautiful barn. And actually, when we took it over, it was so rotten. When you stamped in the floor, you got through. And it was also raining through the roofs. And it has been the first group that did some work there. Was a youth camp of 80 young people. And they what you put planks on, what do you call that? Renovated. And I had been given $10,000 from Anthony Robbins that I was working with in those days for renovation of the barn. But there's a lot more to do if we really want to have it where we want it. Okay, now I can go forward. That's the little health house. Here I hold my breathing trainings. I also teach yoga, and Bo and I have done work there together. This is when we do warm water work in the barn. We put up a big basin, or what do you call it, big pool. Yes, this is my colleague from Denmark, Tuve Jensen, that I work with there. And of course, I love to sing. This is my husband, so we have a lot of concerts, or at least 2 a year there. I love the water. These are the little chicks that was just outside my window. They had their little nest there this spring. Vad heter du? Måsar. Seagull. Yeah, I had to put that in. This is one of the tippies we are sitting, sharing. This is Finny Dempsey, who has brought a lot of quality into breathing and into birth preparation. And then Tuve and I. Okay, we move forward. Yes, research has found that when a partner in a relationship supports the other partner's autonomy, not only does this help the partner to grow and pursue their goals, but it also improves the relationship between the two by promoting and strengthening it. There's got to be growth in every relationship. And you've got to be willing to support each other's uniqueness and be willing to support each other to develop their different talents. Otherwise, it's dead. And I say, it's hard to think of having a partner that's not willing to breathe. Okay. Taking a line from one of John Donne's poem, "No man is an island," it reminds us that we are all dependent on others to give us strength, motivation, endurance, and security to pursue our goals and independence. So let us not forget those in our lives who have given and continue to give us opportunities and freedom to grow and to attain our dreams. We should thank them for supporting our natural personal revolution. Yes, I have to see. I I thought this would be, but you see, we didn't start it until almost a quarter past, so I still have time. No, I don't know where I am. Okay, this is what a teacher of breath is and can promote for others in the breathing work. Life is a fantastic, wonderful adventure with the most enjoyable surprises around every corner during your day. You just have to let into your heart that everybody comes with a surprise. And you have to learn to see the values in all experiences, even when you get badly criticized. And you need to be willing to move on toward the light for your own sake, to move toward oneness, to move toward truth, simplicity, and love. They say that love do want the best for you, and you live in touch with the depth of your heart. I'm sure that that will prove itself. So it is up to you not to let anybody else limit you. And never, never, never give up your dreams. I have to show you these at least. I often teach around what I call the triads, the three forces that shape all human emotions and behavior. The first one that had been touched on quite a bit during this gig is the physiology, biochemistry, structure, movement, the way we care for our bodies. And we have the tremendous opportunity to create health within ourselves if we are willing to put a little bit of effort on ourselves. Someone said earlier about health costs or so, that it's not the society that is supposed to make you healthy. You have the greatest and most profound responsibility for your body. You need to move yourself every day. You need to use all muscles, all twisting, turning. I mean, yoga is excellent and there are many other disciplines. But what you don't use, you lose. And you got to see to the way you eat. You know, most people, they eat for their taste, not for their body, not for their physiology. And far too many people put on much overweight. You know, they say today 30% of diabetes and cancer is increasing by the day. They say in another 10 days, it might be every other person that creates cancer. A lot of that is due to how you eat. So take this week as a way of also cleansing yourself and start to study nutrition for your own sake. I don't like so much carbohydrates that we get here, you know, but that's another thing. Okay, language, questions, metaphors, incantation, what we breath workers call affirmations, how you use your mind, what you tell yourself, what you repeat, the kind of value system. Why in hell do you keep putting yourself down? You got to put yourself up. You got to see your advantages. You got to see the good in yourself. And every day, see how you can improve your being. Focus, beliefs, values, rules, global. Yes, we can call this spirit. I don't know why it went like this, but it doesn't matter. No, that was wrong. This is actually what we are here for, build community. So I say these three pillars, the body, the mind, and the spirit, they are the base for how you feel. And how you feel is the base for what you will be doing, what you do, what you actually put your actions into. And what you put your actions into, yes, that leads to the goals, the dreams, the magic. Yes, and even if we all work intensively with ourselves, I still think that there is a place for a good cry and to have the possibility to share our old thoughts and misunderstandings for a loving, listening person, a teacher of breath, a person skilled with patience and present to silently and lovingly be with you when you are looking inside into your magic and wonderful mind and emotions. When you have a chance to follow into the winding road of past memories and fantasies of your past mixture, and you can see and get new insights and understanding of your present situation. What a fantastic way to be able to clear up knots in your psychic. To take a trip into what has been unseen and misunderstood till then. Today, I use breath sessions to release stress of my daily life. It's like a meditation and a place of rest for my soul and an awakening of my body. The deep silence has a melody of its own in my mind today. The hash discord of the world's sound, calls us inward and pedaled by the breath to those shores of the unknown that we all love to do. So, my friends, let us have a little space maybe for a few questions and a sharing of experiences maybe around this topic of attachment and what we also can call bonding. You see, I have realized you need to bond with people if you really want to help them. That old picture of what a psychologist and psychiatrist is supposed to be. I see what you mean. Yes, and what do you mean with that? Yes, can you explain a little better what you mean? What a waste of time. So you gotta be a friend with the people you work with. You've gotta be willing to be vulnerable. Gotta be willing to share yourself and your story. Some of the people I worked with long ago are my best friends. Some of the people, when it's ready, they say thank you very much and I never see them again. Perfect. And you know, sometimes it's really the teacher of breath that want to hold back their students. It's time to say goodbye. Even for that, we have to clear up and see that we don't become codependents. So my friends, this was my lecture. Standing ovation. Okay, do we have some questions?
Thank you very much, Lena, Kristina.
Thank you.
I would suggest to pursue in the same way we were pursuing yesterday after Wilfried's talk. So since we are short of time, we can have a little group for discussion and questions. Of the people who have questions and who want to continue the conversation with Lena, Kristina, please gather in this corner of the room, and for those